Dear friends, there is a practice of mindfulness called mindfulness of suffering. Suffering is a kind of energy, and mindfulness is another kind of energy that has the power to handle and transform the energy of suffering. The energy of mindfulness can be generated by the practice of breathing or walking. When we breathe in, and if we are aware that we are breathing in, that is a mindfulness of breathing. And as we continue to breathe in and out mindfully, we continue to generate the energy of mindfulness. And in this case, it's called a mindfulness of breathing. When we walk, and if we pay attention to every step we make, that is called mindfulness of walking. And if we keep walking like that, we generate the energy of mindfulness of walking. And when we eat, if we are aware that we are eating, if we concentrate on the food, on the people who are around us, practicing mindful eating, and then we also generate the energy of mindfulness of eating. And when we are able to generate the energy of mindfulness, we will be able to make use of that energy in order to take care of our body and our mind. There is suffering inside of every one of us. And mindfulness of suffering means you go home to yourself and get in touch with the suffering inside. And with the energy of mindfulness, you can recognize that suffering, and you can hold tenderly the suffering in yourself. Usually people don't like to go home to themselves and get in touch with the suffering inside. They are afraid of being overwhelmed by the suffering inside. So the usual way is to try to run away from their own suffering. They try to cover up the suffering inside, their loneliness, their fear, their anger, their despair. They try to run away from that. And they try to consume in order to forget that there is suffering in us, in them. We pick up a book to read, or we pick up a newspaper to read, we turn on the television, we go and find something to eat, we go to the internet, we do anything in order to get busy and not to have to go home to ourselves and touch the suffering inside. But with the energy of mindfulness generated by the practice, we can go home without fear. With that energy of mindfulness generated by mindful breathing, mindful walking, for instance, we can go home in strength. And we can recognize the suffering inside of us. And we can hold it tenderly, like a mother holding her baby. The suffering within us carries within itself the suffering of our father, of our mother, of our ancestors. The suffering in us carries within itself the suffering of our father, our mother, our ancestors. and holding the suffering inside of us, we will come to understand the nature and the roots of that suffering. And understanding được chưa? Understanding the suffering in us will feel lighter. We feel better because understanding suffering always bring about the energy of compassion. Được. The sound system is not good enough. Suppose when we look at one person, and if we can recognize the suffering in him or in her, and if we can see that that person is not capable of handling the suffering in him or in her, and that is why that person continues to be victim of his or her suffering, we begin to understand. And compassion is born. Compassion is born in us. We don't want to punish him or her anymore. Instead, we want to do something, say something in order to help him or her to suffer less. It means recognizing the suffering in that person, understanding that suffering, give rise to the energy of compassion. And with compassion inside of us, we don't suffer anymore. We are no longer angry. We want to do or to say something to help that person suffer less. So the principle is simple and clear. Understanding suffering always help the energy of compassion to be born. And compassion is a kind of energy that has the power to heal and to transform. And that is why mindfulness of suffering is a kind of practice that helps generate the energy of compassion that can heal us and heal the world. The suffering in us also reflects the suffering of our country, our society. And if we understand the suffering inside of us, we will come to understand the suffering of our society as well. And tonight we will begin with that practice called mindfulness of suffering. The monastics will chant the name of Avalokiteshvara, a great being that has the capacity to listen with compassion to the suffering of the world. Avalokiteshvara is not a god. He is a person like the rest of us. But he had the practice of listening to the suffering within himself and came to understand the suffering inside of himself. He got transformed and was able to listen and to understand the suffering of other people. Just listening, you can help other people to suffer less. Avalokita is inside of every one of us because we all have the capacity to listen. But because we do not train ourselves in that art of listening, our capacity of listening is poor. With a week of practice, we'll be able to listen much better. And first of all, we listen to our own suffering. And after having understood our own suffering, it will be easier to understand the suffering of the other person. And understanding the suffering of the other person help us to be compassionate. And compassion in us will help us to do something in order to help him or her to suffer less. So the monastics here, they have been trained to chant in such a way that they can go back to themselves and get in touch with the suffering inside of them. When they chant the name Avalokiteshvara for the first time, they go home to themselves and get in touch with the suffering inside. The purpose, as you know already, is to allow the energy of compassion to be born. And when they chant the name for the second time, they reach out and recognize the suffering in the people in front of them, on the left, on the right. And the purpose is the same, to give compassion a chance to be born. And when they chant the name for the third time, they reach out to many parts of the world in order to recognize the suffering a little bit everywhere. War, discrimination, violence, death, poverty, injustice. And the purpose is the same, to allow compassion to be born. And when we practice like that together as a group, the energy, the collective energy of mindfulness and compassion will be powerful. And if we happen to be in that zone of energy, we can get the healing and transformation. And while listening to the chanting, we may contribute to generating that energy of mindfulness and compassion also. There is tension and pain in our body. And if we allow ourselves to be in the here and the now, if we allow ourselves to be embraced by the collective energy of mindfulness and compassion, and then we'll be able to release the tension and reduce the pain in our body. And we feel better after a few minutes of listening. And if we have some fear, anger, despair in our heart, it's time for us to open our heart and allow the collective energy of mindfulness and compassion generated by the practice to penetrate and help hold the suffering inside. We practice like this. Dear Sangha, dear community, here is my pain, here is my sorrow, my despair. I am a beginner in the practice. I do not have enough the energy of mindfulness in order to hold and embrace and transform. So please, dear Sangha, help hold my suffering for me. We practice like a drop of water in the heart of a river. The drop of water allowed herself to be transported, embraced by the whole river. So we sitting in a Sangha, sitting in the community of practice, we allowed our body and our heart to be embraced by the collective energy of mindfulness and compassion. And if we practice like that, surrender ourselves to the collective energy of mindfulness, we will feel much better after a number of minutes of listening. This is the energy of suffering being taken care of, the energy of mindfulness and compassion. If we have someone in the family who is very sick, who suffers deeply at this moment, who cannot come to the retreat, we can very well send this energy home to him or to her by just thinking of that person or calling his or her name silently. And this wholesome energy will be channeled to that person at home. And he or she will feel better right in this evening. The practice is simple enough. When we focus our attention on our in-breath and become aware of our in-breath and out-breath and continue to breathe like that, we can stop the thinking. Because the thinking can take us away from the here and the now. And we will not be embraced by the collective energy. So just breathe in and out mindfully, focus our attention on our in-breath and out-breath, and allow the past, the future, our projects to be released, and then we'll be able to be truly in the here and the now, to benefit from the collective energy of mindfulness and compassion. If during the practice you feel like you want to cry, and then allow ourselves to cry. Mindful crying. We can cry, but we still focus our attention on our in-breath and out-breath. And it can be very healing if we allow ourselves to be embraced by the energy of mindfulness and compassion. We practice like a mother, a loving mother, holding her baby. The tenderness, the energy of tenderness from the mother penetrates into the body of the baby, and the baby feels better after a few minutes. And the essential is we try to be there in the here and the now, and allow our body to relax and surrender ourselves to the collective energy of the Sangha. มากับไทยครับสักคน
เ
on global ethics, happy teachers will change the world. The first thing we will do tomorrow morning is a walking meditation. Walking meditation is a wonderful way to learn how to live deeply every moment of our daily life. Every step helps us to arrive in the here and the now. Our destination is in every step. We know that the past is no longer there and the future is not yet there. There's only one moment when life is available. And that is why every step should bring us home to the here and the now. That is our true home, the here and the now. If we go home to the here and the now, we will encounter life with all the wonders of life. The wonders of life are inside of us and around us. We need to get in touch with these refreshing, healing, wonderful elements in order to heal us and to nourish us. Usually when we walk together as a group, we don't go too slowly. Breathing in, we may like to make 2 steps or 3 steps. And we are aware of the contact between our foot and the ground, touching the earth mindfully. There is no thinking during the practice, because the thinking will take us away from the here and the now. So breathing in, we may take 2 steps, and you may say, I have arrived. I have arrived. And this is a challenge. You have to arrive in the here and the now with every step. And for those of us who are used to the practice, we can arrive 100% in the here and the now. And if we walk like that, we release the past, we release the future, we release our project, we become a free person. And as a free person, we are able to get in touch with the wonders of life that are available in the here and the now for our nourishment and healing. I have arrived. I have arrived. And this is not a declaration. This is a realization. We have to really arrive in the here and the now. I remember there is a journalist from Paris who came to Plum Village and with the intention to write an article on mindfulness. And she's from a Catholic weekly, Témoignage Chrétien. She stayed with us for 2 weeks. And she said that she reported in her article that the first time she did walking meditation, her mind refused to go with her feet. She got all the instructions from the abbess of the New Hamlet. She understood everything. And yet when she began the first session of walking meditation with the nuns, her mind refused to join her body. But after 15 minutes, she was able to bring mind and body together and enjoy every step. She stayed a few weeks in Plum and she went back to Paris and wrote a very good article, because that article was based not on interviews but on her own practice. And I remember the article she wrote has the title, "In the Country of the Present Moment." So during walking meditation, we try to coordinate our steps with our breath. I'm breathing in. We want to make 2 or 3 steps. I have arrived. I have arrived. It means I have arrived in the here and the now. It should be a realization and not a declaration. When we breathe in mindfully, we bring our mind home to our body. And when mind and body are together, we are fully present in the here and the now. And with one step, we can touch life with all the wonders of life. We are free. We are a free person. We walk as a free person. And every step can be very pleasant. Every step has generate the energy of freedom and solidity in it. Every step can be healing and nourishing. There are those of us who just practice walking meditation and heal ourselves. So with one in-breath, you may like to make 2 steps or 3 steps. I have arrived. And when you breathe out, you can make 3 steps or 4 steps. I am home. My true home is in the here and the now. Because only in the here and the now that we can encounter true life with all the wonders. Walking like that generates the energy of freedom, solidity, and joy. Walking like that brings us into the kingdom of God. Everything that we encounter, a little flower, a tree, the sunshine, everything belongs to the kingdom of God. And also our body belongs to the kingdom of God. To me, the kingdom of God is not an idea, abstract idea. It is a reality that we can encounter in our daily life. That flower, if she does not belong to the kingdom of God, where she should belong to? So with mindfulness and concentration, you can touch the kingdom of God in everything you see and you hear. The kingdom of God is available right here and right now. The question is whether we are available to the kingdom. And to make us available to the kingdom is not difficult. Just breathe in mindfully and bring your mind home to your body. And there you are, established in the here and the now. And with only one step, you can enter the kingdom of God. And later on, from the parking lot to the work, to the place where you work, you will walk like that and enjoy the kingdom with every step. Every step is healing. Every step is nourishing. And the practice is very pleasant. If you suffer while you breathe and while you walk, it's not good practice. In principle, it is pleasant. You can enjoy your in-breath. You can enjoy your out-breath. You can enjoy your steps. And if you enjoy your in-breath, you enjoy your steps, you know that your practice is correct. I have arrived. It means I have arrived in the here and the now. I have arrived in the kingdom of God, in the pure land of the Buddha. And when we breathe out, we make 3 steps or 4 according to our need. If you make 2 steps while breathing in, you may like to make 3 steps while breathing out, because our out breath is usually longer than our in-breath. 2, 3. 2 for in-breath and 3 for out-breath. And every step is pleasant. And if you make 3 steps while breathing in, and then you will make something like 5 steps while breathing out. I always begin with 3, 5, and then a few minutes later it becomes 4, 6. And for me there is only one style of walking because it's so pleasant. Everywhere I go, I use walking meditation. The airport, the railway station, everywhere. Everywhere is the kingdom of God, the pure land of the Buddha. It's very healing, very nourishing. So tomorrow the first thing we do tomorrow is to do walking meditation together. And if everyone is doing that, breathing in mindfully, breathing out mindfully, making steps mindfully, arriving in every minute, in every step, and then it will create a collective, powerful collective of energy of mindfulness and peace that will be very healing for everyone. Everyone can contribute to the success of the retreat by his or her practice. Tonight, Brother Phap from Deer Park Monastery and Sister Tung Nghiêm from Plum will to Dhamma teachers will offer you some more instructions as to enjoy the best our time together in the retreat. I will see you tomorrow at 6 for walking meditation. Thank you. This is a happy moment. Sister Tung. Thầy Pháp Hải ở đâu?
Good evening, dear friends. The teenagers are invited to join some facilitators out in the lobby. So if you're a teen, 13 to however you define a teenager, you can stand up and join your friends outside. So thank you.
Sisters and brothers, good evening. When I came up here and sat down, I was looking around and I realized that it's a miracle that we've all come together in this hall. It's a rare occasion that we have the opportunity to be together in such numbers and have a few days of nourishing our heart. Tay often reminds us that the practice of mindfulness, the practice of developing our capacity to be really there, present for what's taking place in our body, for what's taking place in our mind, is an act of deep love. First of all, it's an act of love for ourselves, and then it's an act of love for those around us. If we love someone, the greatest gift we can offer them is our true presence. As teachers, as educators, as human beings, this is the great gift that we can offer others, and it is the greatest gift we can offer ourselves, the gift of being fully present. Present for what's there, present for our lived experience, coming out of our head down into the core of our being. Mindfulness is a natural state that we all have, but often we're trained to live a little bit above our nose, somewhere up here. When we practice mindfulness, we gently bring our attention down out of our interpretations, our thinking mind, our examining mind, down into the physicality of our breathing, the physicality of our walking, the things we're seeing, the things we're tasting, our bare experience. That can be an incredible relief because we spend most of our life up here. And it's exhausting. It's really exhausting. During these few days, we have the opportunity to do each thing as it is. We don't need to multitask at all. What a joy it is to simply walk. How many of us have that opportunity in our daily life? What a joy it is to simply eat. Not many of us have that opportunity. Many of us who are teachers, we're grabbing a sandwich or a breakfast bar or something like that in between classes. Often we're eating on the road. To have 5 minutes to enjoy something to eat is a luxury. Here in this retreat, we have at least half an hour, often closer to 45 minutes, to enjoy a meal. We have the opportunity to sit, simply to sit, to share with each other, to talk with each other, while being fully there. So I invite you to give yourself that gift, to put down all of your projects, all of the tasks that we think we need to do, and allow each moment to unfold. In that way, this retreat, these few days of being together will be one of the most meaningful and transformative experiences that we've enjoyed thus far. Thich mentioned about the practice of walking meditation. Throughout the whole retreat, whenever we need to take 2 or 3 steps, whether it's simply to the bathroom, we enjoy the practice of walking meditation. Each of the things we do throughout the day here in the retreat is a practice of meditation, not only the sitting meditation periods in the meditation hall. Every moment is a moment for us to arrive. We've all been on very long journeys in our lifetime. Some of us have flown around the world. Some of us have traveled sometimes for 30 hours or 40 hours. Many different connections, many layovers, and we've carried big suitcases and boxes and bags. And we've all had the experience of arriving at the destination, wherever it might be. Maybe it's Hawaii, maybe it's Toronto. And we get where we think we need to be and we put down our bags. And without thinking at all, we simply feel, we feel wonderful, right? When we finally arrived after such a long journey. This is exactly the quality of delight that Tay was speaking about a few moments ago. This sense of is what we're going to be experiencing whenever we breathe in and breathe out, whenever we take a step, whenever we walk, whenever we sit down together. In this way, we know that we're practicing correctly. With every step we take, we're already there. We don't need to be anywhere else. If we generate this energy, we're able to remain fresh. We don't feel tired. We're able to enjoy each moment as a moment of waking up. Twice a day, we'll enjoy together the practice of sitting meditation. We'll come into this hall in the morning time after our walking meditation, and we'll sit down in here. When we come in the hall for sitting meditation, we'll do as we've done this evening and leave our shoes outside on the carpeted areas and come in and find a comfortable place to sit. You might like to come in a little bit early or find a place that you feel comfortable and experiment with your posture. It's important to have 3 points of contact with the earth: your 2 knees and your buttocks. This gives a firm foundation, and we allow ourselves, if we're sitting on a cushion, we sit like so with our 2 knees on the earth. And then we allow our spine to come into alignment. Many of us kind of hunch over a little bit and our organs are compressed. So we bring our spine into alignment gently, like so. You might like to experiment as we're sitting here this evening. Just coming upright. And then when you feel your spine is upright, allow your head to come into alignment. And you might like to look down about a yard or a yard and a half in front of you, and you can gently close your eyes if you like. And then allow your muscles to relax. Do a whole body scan. Your spine is holding you up, and your psoas muscles. There's no tension or tightness. Upright, stable, and relaxed. And you can put your hands gently in your lap if you like. And bring your attention back to your breathing, wherever you notice it most in your body. The tip of your nose, the back of your throat, or down to your abdomen. So right now I'd like to invite you to notice where you're feeling your breath the most. Breathing in, I know that I'm breathing in. Breathing out, I know that I'm breathing out. We allow our breath to be what it is. If it's short, we allow it to be short. If it's long, we let it be long. We don't need to control it in any way. Just notice how your breath enters and leaves your body. There's this breath, and then there's the next one. If your mind starts thinking about something or planning something, that's okay. We smile to it and gently bring our attention back to our breath. This, brothers and sisters, is the practice of sitting meditation, and we'll enjoy this practice collectively here in the hall twice a day. But we also have the opportunity to return to our breath throughout the day. And each of the practices that we do here in this retreat has as its foundation our breath. I'm going to invite Sister Pine to share a little bit more about breathing.
You may like to enjoy the sound of the bell with your breathing. So, dear community, you all look very beautiful from here. This is a very, as Phap just said, this is a very special gathering. And I'm also personally very, very happy to be here. I'm originally from the Great Lakes at the other end, Ann Arbor, Michigan. And it feels really good to be back among the big lakes. I think that our dear teacher Thai and also Brother Phap have already offered us the most important pleasures of breathing mindfully. And as Brother Phap just said, it's something we get to enjoy many, many times a day. Whenever we remember, we can bring our attention back to our breathing. Whatever we're doing, when we're eating, when we're walking, when we're listening to the Dharma talk, when we're sitting in a group sharing with our Dharma sharing family, all of these things are opportunities for us to come back to the pleasure of the breath flowing in and out. Thai talked about the here and the now as the time and the place, the only moment when we can be really alive. And how do we get to that place? How do we get to that time, the here and the now? We need to practice stopping, because most of us, most of the time, what we're practicing is running, right? We run with our bodies. We run for the commuter train. We run for many other things. Physically running, rushing around, running around our own kitchen. And we also may be running in our speech, trying to just get things out. And even when we're not speaking, someone else is speaking, but we're already kind of running in our mind to what we're going to say next. Or even in our sleep, we may be running. And maybe this is something that we received from our parents or other generations before them. It may have been something that we had to do to survive, and now we still have that strong, strong habit of running. But as long as we're running around like that, it's very difficult to come into the here and the now. How can we arrive here and now if we're so in that habit of running? So we really like to enjoy the practice of stopping. When I was just reflecting earlier about this practice of stopping, and I had an image in my mind, because many of us here are teachers, I had an image of a classroom. And when we're a teacher in a classroom, we're there because there's something that we want to share. We want to explore together with the students, something that we think will be of value to them, maybe open their minds, help them to be successful in their life. And it seems like a lot of teachers may have to put quite a bit of energy into just encouraging the students to pay attention and stopping doing lots of other things, like stopping talking on their cell phone, or stopping playing a computer game, or stopping hitting their neighbor. So we already know that stopping is something really important, to be able to be there, to receive what's valuable, what's there. And actually for many of us, it could be almost the same thing, that life itself is there with so many good things to offer us, but because we're so busy running around with our projects, with our agendas, with our anxieties in our mind, we're missing out on some beautiful things that we could be receiving, some healing, some nourishing, some refreshing elements that are all there. And so one of the main practices that we have to come into the here and now and enjoy the wonders of being alive is the practice of stopping. It's a little bit like if we have a pond in our yard, and that pond has some very nice things in it, maybe some very beautiful plants inside, maybe there's even a silver coin in there that could help us to pay for something that we need, or maybe even our house keys that we dropped in there. There could be all kinds of things in there that are beautiful, that are helpful, useful, and there may be at the same time some very sharp things, like sharp rocks or a piece of broken glass that somehow got in there. And if we put our hand into the pond, we need to know what we're reaching for. We want to be aware of what we're getting in contact with. But if that pond is constantly being churned up, if there's maybe a whole bunch of fish in there running around all the time and they're swimming, very busily swimming, agitating the pond, it's completely churned up and we can't see anything. It's very hard to find our way, to find what we need, and to avoid what can be painful or bring us suffering. And the practice of stopping is what allows all of that agitation to release, and the churning, the sediment can settle, and then we can see things very clearly inside ourselves and also around us. So this is what the practice of stopping can do, and also very much helps us to release tension in our body and also our mind and relax. This is also the arriving. So how do we practice the stopping? Well, as we've just been talking about, coming back to our breathing over and over again, every time we remember, every time we notice that we haven't been aware of what our breathing was doing without our realizing it, we just come back and say, this is an in-breath that's happening. This is an out-breath that's happening. And like Thai said, it's so pleasant. It's so relaxing and refreshing. It's like drinking a glass of lemonade. And it's free. We can do it anytime. We're also, when we can be aware of our breathing, we can be aware of what a gift it is, what a miracle it is to be alive. This is a wonderful discovery to make over and over when we realize that we've been getting caught up in maybe our computer, maybe our projects, or maybe even an argument, and we lose touch with the wonders that are right there for us. We could imagine right now, we could close our eyes and just know that right now on this planet there are many, many people who are perhaps about to take their last breath, maybe about to exhale for the very last time. And how much would they like to be able to just breathe normally, naturally, like we're able to do all day long? Or people with pneumonia, people with emphysema who have to struggle for every breath and feel like they're suffocating. But we get to just, without any effort, just enjoy the breath, enjoy that feeling of the breath coming in and out and the aliveness. So this is something that we're encouraged to do for the pleasure, for the joy of it. And one of the things that helps us to remember is the sound of the bell. We've already been able to enjoy some sounds of the bell this evening. At our practice centers, like at Deer Park Monastery where Brother Phap Hai lives, or in Plum Village where I live, we have many different kinds of bells in the meditation hall here and also outside to announce activities. And we always like to enjoy that practice of stopping whenever we hear the sound of the bell. We can also use other sounds that way as a bell of mindfulness, like the sound of a phone ringing or even a stoplight in traffic, or the sound of a siren or a child's laugh, anything that we like to use to remind us to come back, to stop our running and just come back to the joy of being alive. So I'd like to ask Sister Halpnium to offer us a sound to just refresh ourselves with that breathing, mindful breathing. And just as Brother Phap Hai said, we don't need to do anything with that breathing. We don't need to make it deep or long. We just enjoy it. Just enjoy being with it. It's a pleasure.
So brothers and sisters, I think it's time for me to raise a very sensitive topic. And as with most sensitive topics, it's probably good to start with a story. I was recently in Hong Kong on retreat with Thay, and we were doing walking meditation. As we were doing walking meditation, I happened to look over, and there was a person next to me who was texting or updating their status or something. And I thought to myself, we shouldn't really be thinking during walking meditation, but neither should we be texting. So I forgive myself a little. And I thought to myself, I wonder what she could be writing. I'm doing walking meditation with Thay. What could she have been texting in that moment of being in walking meditation? If she was texting, I'm doing walking meditation, I'm sorry, you're not. Sister Pine mentioned about the sound of the phone, and while it is a wonderful tool for stopping, I really hope we don't hear it too often during this retreat. We like to invite our friends to consider. Notice how gentle I'm being with the words I'm choosing. To consider taking a technological sabbatical while you're on retreat. Our social networking lives are so busy, and they take up quite a number of minutes of every day. And we feel that we need to respond to everything immediately, and it is quite tiring. So I invite you to consider taking a technological sabbatical. Consider perhaps doing one last update on the book. I'm on retreat, see you in a few days. Or perhaps just checking your messages once or twice a day if you feel that you need to. And some of us do have situations that are quite urgent. But if you notice yourself being pulled by the need to continually check your messages or update or be connected outside, it can be interesting to observe that. We've never been more connected, and yet we've never felt more alone. So it can be a wonderful opportunity for us to explore what it is to be connected, both through the cyber connection and what it means to be connected to those people who are sitting with us in this room here, 1,300 of them. And what it also might mean to be connected with what's really taking place within. and giving ourselves that opportunity. So I invite you to explore that at whatever level you feel comfortable. One of the favorite activities during retreats that we have in our monasteries and also here is eating meditation. It's a lot of people's favorite. We notice in Deer Park that we might have 300 people for the Sunday Dharma talk, but then 400 for the meal. We wonder where they are. So recently we found out that Deer Park Monastery has been listed on some website as one of the great vegan restaurants in San Diego County. So there you go. During this retreat, we'll have the opportunity to enjoy a meal together 3 times a day. And eating meditation is a profound practice. I invite you, with everything we're doing, we've mentioned some of the practices already, breathing, walking, sitting, listening to the bell, to explore what it might mean to apply that in your daily life. What are the lessons you can take from that to apply in your daily life? To eat is to be in contact with nourishment. It's an opportunity to nourish our body, to nourish our mind. When we come for a meal, we'll be eating in a couple of shifts, in 2 shifts. So you might want to check your name badge and also your sharing group list to see which shift you're in, and we'll be eating in 2 different locations. When we come to the mealtime, for sure, there's going to be a line. And this is a great invitation to see how our mind works and the patterns of thinking that we normally get into. We all have a strategy. We all have a strategy. Some of us, while we're standing in line, we start to feel frustrated and we start to plan it all ahead. Okay, when I get over there, I'm going to get this, and this. We have it all down pat. Or we're standing here and we're thinking, oh, I'm in the slow line again. Why do I always get in the slow line? Look at that line, it's going 4 times faster. Or we're looking ahead, 3 or 4 people or maybe 20 people ahead, looking at what's on the bar there, what's going to be served, and we think there's only a little bit of that left and she's taking all of it. It's the only good thing. So we have all of these stories and strategies that are going through our mind. When we practice eating meditation, we can smile to all of those stories. We can enjoy them. We don't have many opportunities to enjoy the way that our mind works. It can be really, really humorous when we give ourselves permission to step back and observe the things that go on in our mind, the interpretations that we make. As we come to the dining hall and we're standing in line, we can enjoy being there together in silence. Our communication can be really deep without words. Sometimes it's even deeper than when we speak. It can be very intimate to look another person in the eyes and not have any jokes to tell or ask about the weather or ask whether you're Canadian or American or like me from the Southern Hemisphere, but simply to be there together. We can smile at each other, and sooner or later we'll arrive at the place where the trays and the plates and things are. We monastics have a practice that I'd like to invite you to experience during these few days that we have together. When we arrive at the trays and the plates, we take a moment just to recognize that they're empty. This is not philosophical emptiness. This is a recognition of the fact that there's nothing in the bowl, there's nothing on the plate at this moment. And I have the opportunity now to put something in the bowl and on the plate. Isn't that wonderful? There's not many people who have that opportunity like me 3 times a day. So we take the food with that spirit of gratitude. We have the opportunity to nourish ourselves. And we take what we need for our body, which can sometimes be different to what we want. Right? Taking what we're sure we can finish. And we make our way to the tables. the dining hall team has requested me to invite us, when we come into the dining hall, we're going to be sitting with other friends, and we'd like to fill up each table. So when we come into the dining hall, if there's no one at any table, if you happen to be the very first person, then please stand, put your tray down and stand by a table. And others, as we come in, we'll see if there are people standing around a table, and when the table is full, we'll all bow to each other. And we'll sit down together and begin our meal. Throughout the meal time, we'll be hearing the 5 contemplations, which are a little meditation we can do along with eating. And we'll enjoy sitting there together, eating our meal for about 15-20 minutes. Take your time to eat. There's no need to hurry. As we eat, we can be aware of the friends around us, which are a great support and nourishment. And we're also aware of the food. We might like to, as we take a spoonful of food, recognize what it is we're putting in our mouth. Recognize the nourishment that's coming to us. Call it by its true name. It might be some hummus, it might be some lettuce, it might be some kidney beans. Just recognize for a split second what you're putting in your mouth. And then chew the food thoroughly. Tay invites us to chew at least 30 times. We can be a little flexible. Today there was a consommé at lunch, so we might not need to chew the consommé, the clear soup, 30 times. But you get the picture. We're so used to gulping down our food, and when we have a mouthful of food, we're already preparing the next one. Does that say anything about the way we interact with conditions of nourishment, happy conditions in our daily life? It may. We already have something wonderful and we're looking for the next thing. So we can make many discoveries during the practice of eating meditation. It can be so profound. From time to time, put down your spoon and look around the circle of friends. It's a wonderful supportive condition to have friends who are practicing mindfulness together. And then after about 15 or 20 minutes, we can pick up our tray when we're finished and make our way and discard the things we need to discard, put our dishes in the washing up line and make our way out. And so we'll enjoy this practice of eating meditation 3 times a day, and I invite you to experience it fully, to really take the opportunity to go one step deeper with the practice of nourishing yourself. So enjoy the practice.
So, dear friends, we know that many of us have traveled quite a while today, so we just want to share about one other really important practice, and then we will invite the organizers to give us just a few really important announcements before we move off to our rest. So this is about the practice that we call noble silence. You may have seen that on the schedule. It's the last thing on the schedule of the day, and it begins each evening at 9:30 and lasts until after the Dharma talk the next day. When we talk about the practice of noble silence, it's another practice of stopping, but also it's not only about not speaking with words, it's also being aware of what the sounds of our physical movements may be communicating, our steps as we go through the hall or around our room, the door that we're opening and closing, putting things down on the counter as we're washing our face and brushing our teeth to get ready for bed. What are those sounds of our movements communicating? Are they communicating rushing, preoccupation? Are they communicating tension, stress? Or maybe they're communicating our presence, our care, and our compassion for ourselves and for the people around us. And it's also a wonderful opportunity to bring quiet into our mind and quiet the chatter, the mental chatter that seems to go on maybe even 24 hours a day. That's one of the great gifts to me of mindfulness, is just realizing what are the things that we're actually doing all the time, and we just don't stop enough of the other activities to pay attention to what's going on inside our mind all the time. So this is a chance for us to lay down the activities of the day in our body, lay down our speaking and lay down our mental activities, and really, really rest deeply, really open up a space in our body and our mind, relax and release, and go into a deep restfulness for the night, and be fresh for our sitting meditation in the morning. Brother, do you want to add anything else for this evening? Okay. So maybe that's enough for now. We will get the chance to hear many more insights from our teacher Thai and from others all around us throughout the week. So this is just a beginning, and we'd like to invite the organizers to come and make the announcements. And so our sister is offering us generously 3 sounds of the bell. So the sound of the bell is like the sound of, can be the Buddha or Jesus or our grandmother, Mother Earth, calling us back to our true home, to our true self. So let us enjoy the sounds and let them penetrate into our body and our mind. Thank you. So that small bell was a sound that invites us to unfold our legs and massage while we listen to our dear brother Kenley. Thank you.
It is quite nice from up here, looking at all of you being still and attentive to the sharing that we heard tonight. Before I make all the